Hi, I'm Bob. We have learned how consumers make consumption decisions to maximize their utilities subject to budget constraints. We also derived the consumer's demand curve from the optimal consumption bundles. Usually, the demand curves are downward sloping, meaning that the demand increases as the price of the good decreases. Do all demand curves slope downwards? Theoretically, the demand curve could be upward sloping. Consumers could buy more of a good when its price rises, or less of a good when its price drops. To see how this can happen, please consider the example of lobsters and instant noodles and employ the substitution effect and income effect of a price change we developed in previous videos. When instant noodles price drops, the budget line rotates outwards. I draw an imaginary budget line that is parallel to the new budget constraint and tangent to the initial indifference curve. The movement from A to A prime is the substitution effect. The consumer buys more instant noodles because the relative price of instant noodles drops. Instant noodles become cheaper, and the consumer buys more of the relatively cheaper good. The movement from A prime to B is the income effect. We see that the consumer purchases much fewer instant noodles when her income increases. Since the demand for instant noodles decreases as the consumer's income drops, the instant noodles are an inferior good according to the definition of the inferior good. Notice that the income effect is in the opposite direction of the substitution effect. The total price effect on the demand for instant noodles is the sum of the substitution effect and the income effect. In our example, instant noodles are strongly inferior good, and the income effect outweighs the substitution effect. So the total effect is purchasing fewer instant noodles as the price drops. Economists use the term given good to describe a good that violates the law of demand. In this example, instant noodles are a given good. Given goods are inferior goods, for which the income effect dominates the substitution effect. Therefore, they have demand curves that slope upwards, as illustrated in the graph. Remember that a given good must be an inferior good in the first place. For an inferior good, the substitution effect and the income effect are always in the opposite direction. The key is which effect is greater. If the income effect is greater, as in our case, the inferior good is also a given good. If the substitution effect is greater, the inferior good is just an inferior good. It is not a given good. Have any given goods been actually observed? Some economists found that for very poor households living in rural areas in China, their staple diet of rice could be a given good. When people are given subsidies for rice, which is equivalent to a price drop, their consumption of rice decreases. If other factors that affect people's consumption of rice are held constant, then that is the empirical evidence of a given good. So, the theory of optimal consumption choice allows demand curves to slope upwards. And sometimes economists find evidence. But given goods are very rare. The law of demand holds in almost all cases. Thank you for watching this video and subscribing to my YouTube channel. See you next time.